So I've been trying to make these yarn pom-poms for cats for years. I've seen a lot of people give tutorials on how to do them, but every time I try, I end up with a ball where these middle parts of the string can be pulled out. And then eventually what you have is just a pile of yarn pieces and no toy. And so I've never been able to make them until I finally, the other day, I saw this tutorial where somebody was making pom-poms using a large fork. And it gave me an idea of how to possibly do it in a way that would be durable for cats. And so I tested my method, and it was working. And so I decided to do an extreme test, and I actually threw one of my pom-poms into my washing machine with a load of laundry. And I did it on high, heavy, like the hardest washing machine load, because I was doing cat laundry anyway for my foster cats. And then threw it in the dryer on high heat to see would it survive. And I only did one because I did not think it would survive. I thought it would end up in a ball of loose yarn, or just a pile of yarn. And surprise, surprise, this is that pom-pom. And you see it got really fuzzy, which is actually, I kind of like the looks of it. But it is still, there wasn't a single piece of it. It's still really tough. So in this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to do it. And you don't need that much. Now for yarn, I like this yarn I'm using in the tutorial today is Charisma yarn. You get this at Michael's. It comes in a lot of colors. It comes in solid colors. I like the variegated colors because of how the pom-poms turn out. Like this is one of the large pom-poms, and you can just see like the colors look really cool. I have used other yarns. I even tried using, this is like the Red Heart, the really cheap yarn you see everywhere that your grandmother, crochets Afghans with. I don't like the ball as well. It works, but I don't like it. I like the bulky or the super bulky yarn. I even use like this is the Bernat baby blanket yarn, and I really like how this one came out. So you can even use like super bulky, you can play around with it. So, but I would say the bulkier yarns make these a little bit better. So that's the first part, is you need yarn. You need cardboard. And you just take a strip of cardboard. This is probably about 6 to 8 inches long. The width, I've done these as small as 1.5 inches to as big as 3 inches. It's really kind of up to you as to how big you want your balls to be. But whatever you do, you're going to take a strip. You need to make sure that this strip here is not very wide and is directly in the middle, because this is where you're going to tie your string. And if it's off, or if it's too big and you won't get it right in the center, then your ball kind of gets a little bit awkward. So you're just going to cut a little bit of a strip, and then cut a small slit further past here. You can't see it on that one, but here you can see that there's just a little bit of more of a slit here, because you're going to use that to hold your tying yarn. And then you need a hot glue gun. This is just a regular, hot glue gun. I use Gorilla Glue hot glue because I like it really well, but pretty much any hot glue is going to work. And that's it. And a scissors, sorry. You also need a scissors. Preferably a strong scissors, because cutting through multiple strands of yarn can be really tough. I'm taking my piece of cardboard, and then I cut a piece of yarn that's about 15 inches long, and I'm going to put it in the middle. Remember where I said you cut that slit? I'm actually going to put this down in that slit so it's being held. And the slit will hold the yarn there. Now this is a long piece because I like to have it so that if I want to tie the pom-pom onto something, I have plenty of it, and if I don't want to, I can trim it off. Okay, now I'm going to take the end of my yarn, or the ball of yarn, and I'm going to tie a slip knot. If you don't know how to tie a slip knot, you can tie a regular knot, but I like slip knot, makes it a little bit easier because I can slip it on over one end, and then I'm going to tighten this So you can see the knot is here, and then this is going to hold, so I don't have to try to hold this piece of yarn at the end. And now you start wrapping. Wrap each row of yarn as close to the previous one as you can. Don't go all the way to the end because it will just slip off. So now I've got a nice row. If you have to, you can kind of push it down, squish it together. And I'm going to take my glue gun and I'm going to put a row of glue here and a row of glue here. And now I'm going to wrap again. And then as soon as I get a row, I add my glue and wrap again. Once I've done about 3 rows, I'll start to just kind of do more towards the middle and not go all the way to the ends. And if for some reason like you get one strand too far away, you can cross over as long as you get, it gets to the middle here. I don't worry about if there's glue. Put that there. If there's glue sticking out, because that's going to go away. And I'm being a little heavy on the glue here. You don't need that much glue to hold this. I just can't find my mini glue gun that I had, so I'm using my bigger glue gun. And it's adding more glue. So you don't need this much glue. Now you can see I'm doing it more towards the middle. And you can make this as, I haven't tested the limits if there's how big you can make them. But at some point you just kind of gets a little bit too bulky and you want to stop. So I'm going to stop here. And I'm going to trim off the end of my yarn just to get it out of the way. And now I'm going to take this yarn and I'm going to tie a knot, just one. I don't want it, this isn't my final knot. I just want to kind of put this to hold all the strands in place. I'll pull it as tight as I can. You kind of see the glue is coming off on this. That's okay, don't worry about it. And now slip this off. And once you get it off, make sure you grab the 2 ends, pull it tighter. You usually get it a little bit tighter, and then tie a second knot. And you can see how it's kind of getting the glue. The glue will, you want to do this while the glue is still fresh, so that glue is still soft, and so you can tie it tight, and then the glue will harden, and it's going to hold that as well as the knot does. Okay, so now you have it tied. You can get rid of this knot over here. If you did a slip knot, you can just pull it, otherwise you can cut it. And now this is going to be a little bit long, so I'm going to go ahead and trim that off. And you can start making you're going to cut this. And you kind of need you'll need a sharp scissors to do this. If it's dull at all, it gets to be really frustrating. And sometimes you'll find a loop that you missed, but that's okay. Like here, I missed a loop. Now, you'll notice that there's a big gap here that is unsightly. So what you do is you take your glue gun, put just a little bit of glue, not a lot. You just need to, just a little bit of glue there, and then push or kind of squeeze these together, and you'll see it goes away. So you kind of do that all the way around, and where there's this little gap, you just add a little bit of glue. And squeeze it. So that way, now it's hidden. And now I still have, now at this point, you may notice that some strands are slightly longer than others, and you can, you know, go around and trim it. Or you can leave it the way it is. It's, you know, not like the cat's going to complain about it. You can also, if you want to get a more fuzzy ball, you can comb this out with like a metal comb, and it'll get like a softer ball. Or you just use it like this. I find cats like this way just as well. And that's it. Thank you for watching my video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. I plan on uploading more animal craft related videos in the upcoming weeks, so subscribe to receive notification. And as always, have a joyful day.